Every morning, you wake up with two options: to repeat yesterday or to rewrite today. The difference: discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it's power. It's the silent force that turns chaos into clarity, excuses into execution, and average into excellence. If you can master your mind, you can command your day. And when you own your day, you start to own your life. Discipline is the quiet force that bridges the wide gap between a dream and its fulfillment. It is often misunderstood as restriction or limitation, but in truth, discipline is liberation. It is the mechanism that transforms ideas into action and intentions into outcomes. Without discipline, even the most inspiring goals are just wishful thinking, fleeting and powerless. Every person holds within them a vision of something greater, an aspiration for health, success, impact, or personal growth. But there is a massive difference between having a goal and reaching it. That difference is discipline. It is the difference between writing down a plan and executing it, between starting something and finishing it, between knowing what to do and actually doing it every single day. Discipline is not dramatic. It doesn't shout, it doesn't seek attention, and it rarely feels glamorous. It's the quiet decision to wake up when the alarm rings instead of hitting snooze. It's choosing to follow through with commitments when no one is watching. It's doing the difficult thing, the boring thing, the thing you don't feel like doing simply because it's the thing that must be done. Those are the moments where greatness is forged, not in a flash, but in the furnace of repeated, disciplined effort. The most powerful people aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are simply the most consistent. They make a habit out of doing what others avoid. That doesn't mean they don't face temptations or doubts. It means they've trained themselves to act in spite of them. They understand that feelings are fleeting, but discipline builds foundations. Every act of discipline is a brick in the structure of a life well lived. We all experience resistance. There will always be distractions, excuses, and reasons to put things off until tomorrow. Discipline says, do it anyway. It doesn't ask for permission from your mood or your circumstances. It shows up. It leads when motivation is nowhere to be found. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the firewood. It keeps burning long after the spark has faded. One of the biggest myths about success is that it comes from extraordinary breakthroughs. The truth is far simpler and more uncomfortable. It comes from doing the ordinary things with extraordinary consistency. Discipline doesn't just get you started, it gets you through. It sustains progress when excitement fades and adversity sets in. People wait for the perfect moment to act, when they feel ready, when they have more time, more energy, more clarity. But that moment rarely comes. The disciplined person doesn't wait. They take the first step, and then the next, because action feeds confidence, and discipline creates the momentum that motivation cannot. Discipline isn't about being harsh or rigid. It's about aligning your actions with your highest values. It's daily commitment to the version of yourself that you want to become. Every time you choose discipline, you cast a vote for that version, and over time, those votes add up. That's how identity is formed, not by declarations, but by repeated evidence through behavior. You don't need to overhaul your life in a day. Start with one small thing. Wake up on time, follow through on your schedule, say no to something that doesn't align with your goals. Each of these decisions is a message to yourself. I am the kind of person who follows through. With each disciplined act, your confidence grows, not because you are pretending to be something you're not, but because you're proving to yourself who you are becoming. The truth is, discipline isn't a trait you're born with. It's a skill, and like any skill, it gets stronger with use. The more you exercise it, the more natural it becomes, and as it becomes part of who you are, it begins to transform not just your actions but your outcomes. The world doesn't reward intention. It rewards execution, and execution lives and dies on discipline. The mind is the command center of your life. Every action, every habit, every result, positive or negative, originates from the thoughts you allow to take root. Mastering your mind is not a luxury. It's a necessity if you want to live with purpose and power. If you do not take control of your mind, it will control you, often in subtle ways that go unnoticed until the damage is already done. Most people lose the battle before the day even begins. The first thoughts upon waking are filled with doubt, procrastination, worry, or apathy. Left unchecked, those thoughts become the tone of the day. Your mind is always responding to the input you give it, and if you feed it fear, laziness, or excuses, it will amplify those messages and shape your behavior accordingly. Mastery starts with awareness, recognizing that every thought is a choice, and every choice shapes your direction. Your thoughts can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The mind has the incredible ability to create momentum in either direction. A single disciplined thought like "I will take responsibility for today" can lead to focused action, momentum, and results. On the other hand, a thought like "I'll start tomorrow" seems harmless, but when repeated over time, it creates a pattern of delay and regret. Mental mastery means catching those thoughts in the moment and replacing them with thoughts that align with who you want to be. This level of control doesn't happen by accident. It requires training. Just as the body is trained through physical effort, the mind is trained through consistent intention. You must challenge the lazy thoughts, the victim thoughts, the reactive thoughts, and replace them with thoughts rooted in clarity, strength, and commitment. This isn't about suppressing emotion or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing not to let fear, doubt, or negativity steer your life. Self-talk plays a critical role. What you say to yourself when no one else is listening becomes the narrative that shapes your identity. Are you building yourself up or tearing yourself down? Are you reminding yourself of your potential or replaying your past failures? The words you whisper in your mind become the script you live by. Mastery begins with changing the language of that script to one of belief, resilience, and responsibility. Discipline of the mind is not about denying challenges or difficulties. It's about choosing your response to them. Life will test you. There will be stress, uncertainty, setbacks, and criticism. A mind that is undisciplined reacts with panic, anger, or avoidance. A trained mind responds with focus, strategy, and calm. That is the power of mental discipline. It gives you the ability to choose your response instead of being ruled by impulse. In the age of distraction, mastering your mind is more difficult and more important than ever. Notifications, media, and noise constantly compete for your attention. And if you don't deliberately control your focus, the world will decide where it goes. The mind left open to everything becomes strong in nothing. Mental discipline means deciding what matters and shutting out what doesn't. It means protecting your mental energy as fiercely as you would protect your time or money. Mental mastery also includes the ability to endure discomfort. The mind will often try to talk you out of doing what's hard. It wants ease, not growth. It will give you 10 reasons to quit before you've even begun. But when you master your mind, you stop negotiating with weakness. You act according to your values, not your moods. You get things done, not because they're easy, but because they are necessary. Ultimately, mastering your mind is an act of leadership. You are leading yourself before you lead anything else. And just like any effective leader, you must be clear, decisive, and consistent. You must remind yourself of the mission daily. You must filter what gets in, focus on what moves you forward, and remove what holds you back. The way you start your day sets the rhythm for everything that follows. Many people rush into their mornings with no clear direction, reacting to whatever comes their way. They check messages, scroll through social media, or simply go through motions without intention. As a result, their day owns them instead of the other way around. Discipline begins long before action. It begins with preparation. The day should be finished before it begins, and that means putting it on paper. Planning is not just a productivity hack. It's a statement of control. It's how you declare to yourself, "I am the architect of this day." You don't walk into a meeting without an agenda. You don't build a house without blueprints. So why walk into your day with no plan, hoping things will just go right? When you plan with purpose, you take control over your time, energy, and outcomes. You decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't. That single act alone is a form of power. Each morning should begin with clarity. What are your top priorities? What actions will move you closer to your goals? What distractions must be avoided? These questions don't require a long meditation or a complicated journal ritual. They just require 5 to 10 minutes of honest thinking written down. When you take the time to define your priorities on paper, you eliminate the guesswork. You walk into your day with a roadmap instead of wandering through it blindly. Discipline isn't only about doing hard things, it's also about doing smart things, and one of the smartest things you can do is take charge of your time. Time is your most valuable asset. Once it's spent, it's gone. The undisciplined person allows interruptions, unnecessary tasks, and other people's priorities to fill their schedule, but a disciplined person protects their time with intention. They understand that every yes is a no to something else, and they plan accordingly. A written plan also creates accountability. When it's in your head, it's vague. It's easy to forget, easy to shift, easy to ignore, but when it's written down, it becomes a commitment. You can see it, you can track it, you can measure your follow-through. This doesn't mean every minute of the day has to be scheduled. It means you identify your core objectives, the non-negotiables, and you give them a place of honor in your calendar. There is a different level of energy that comes from starting your day with purpose. Instead of waking up in reaction to the world, you rise with a sense of mission. You move through tasks with intention, not because you feel like it, but because it's part of a larger plan. That mindset creates momentum, and momentum is one of the most valuable forces in personal growth. It's the feeling of progress, and it feeds confidence and motivation. People often overestimate what they can do in a week, but underestimate what they can do in a focused day. A day with a clear plan, executed with discipline, can move you forward more than a week of scattered effort. You don't need more hours in a day, you need more direction in your hours. Planning helps you remove the noise and stay locked in on what truly matters. It helps you prevent drift and stay aligned with your long-term vision. One of the most underrated benefits of daily planning is peace of mind. When your day is mapped out, there's less anxiety, less uncertainty, and less decision fatigue. You've already made the tough calls. You know what to do and when to do it. That clarity frees your mind to focus on execution rather than constantly wondering what's next. It gives you the freedom to be present, knowing your path is already set. Owning your day doesn't mean controlling every outcome. It means owning your approach. It means showing up with intention, with a clear plan, and with the discipline to follow through. The more consistently you do that, the more your days begin to reflect your values. And when your days align with your values, your life begins to change, not in a burst, but in a steady, disciplined rhythm that compounds over time. Success is not the result of dramatic leaps or overnight breakthroughs. It is built quietly, steadily, through the repetition of simple disciplines practiced daily. These are not the grand gestures that attract applause or recognition. They are the small, often unnoticed actions that accumulate into something powerful over time. When practiced consistently, they transform ordinary efforts into extraordinary results. Many people search for secrets, shortcuts, or hacks to achieve their goals. They chase inspiration, wait for motivation, and believe that some future moment of clarity will finally push them forward. But the truth is, it's not about finding something new. It's about committing to something consistent. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is not intelligence or talent. It's daily discipline. Simple disciplines are the things you already know you should be doing. Waking up early, eating with intention, moving your body, setting clear goals, managing your time, following through. These aren't complicated strategies. They are basic, but being simple doesn't make them easy. In fact, their very simplicity often makes them easier to overlook, because they don't deliver instant gratification. They're easy to postpone, but they're also where real transformation begins. It's important to understand that the reverse is also true. Just as small disciplines lead to success, small errors in judgment lead to failure. Missing one workout doesn't destroy your health, but repeating that decision over weeks and months creates a lifestyle. Spending impulsively one time may not ruin your finances, but doing it consistently builds a habit that compounds into debt. The path to success and the path to failure are both shaped by the same process, repetition. The power lies in consistency. Anyone can act with discipline for a day, but the real test is whether you can keep showing up when the excitement fades. Can you still do the work when no one is watching? Can you stay committed when progress is slow? Those are the moments that define outcomes. Success doesn't require massive effort once in a while. It requires manageable effort all the time. A major shift happens when discipline becomes part of your identity. You stop thinking about whether you feel like doing something. You simply do it because it's who you are. It's part of your standard. You don't wait for motivation to strike. You act from habit, and motivation often follows. Discipline becomes less about self-control and more about alignment. You align your actions with your values and goals, and the process becomes automatic. Another key to sustaining discipline is keeping your practices simple. Complexity creates resistance. When routines are too elaborate, they become hard to follow and easy to abandon. But when you keep things clear and achievable, you increase the likelihood of following through. Start small, start consistent, and let the momentum build. The weight of success is carried by the repetition of small actions that are done well and done often. Progress may feel slow in the beginning, and that's normal. Most people quit during this phase because they don't see immediate results. But just as seeds take time to grow, so do disciplined habits. At first, results are invisible, then they become undeniable, and once that happens, the same actions that were once a struggle become second nature. Disciplines also have a way of spilling over into other areas of life. When you commit to structure in one area, like fitness, time management, or finances, you begin to see improvements elsewhere. You start living with greater awareness and purpose. You begin to trust yourself more. You develop the confidence that comes from knowing you follow through on your word. This is how real, lasting success is built, not from sudden breakthroughs, but from daily commitment, not from inspiration, but from intention. Small choices, repeated over time, shape who you become. That's the power of simple disciplines. They don't just change your schedule, they change your character. And over time, your character determines your destiny.